You're about to discover something that could change everything. Did you know that dementia doesn't just sneak up overnight? It leaves clues, tiny, overlooked hints that can show up years before a diagnosis. These aren't the dramatic memory blackouts you might expect. They're subtle, sneaky changes that most people brush off as just aging. But here's the kicker, ignoring them could cost you or someone you love their independence, their spark, their life as they know it. Today, we're diving deep into 7 early signs of dementia that every senior and their family needs to recognize right now. These aren't just warnings, they're a wake-up call to take control of your health, your future, and your legacy. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll walk away with practical tools, real-life wisdom, and a personal story from my own journey that'll hit close to home. Let's get started. Sign 1. Tiny memory hiccups that feel off. First up, let's talk about memory. Not the big, scary kind of forgetting, like not knowing your own name, but the small, nagging lapses that creep into daily life. Picture this, you walk into your living room, and for a split second, you blank on why you're there. Or you misplace your keys, not once, but 3 times in a week, even though they've got a hook by the door. These aren't one-off moments. They start to pile up, like crumbs you can't quite sweep away. I'll never forget my neighbor, Clara, a sharp-as-a-tack 72-year-old who loved her crossword puzzles. One summer, she started asking me the same question every time we chatted, "When's the next community picnic?" At first, I thought she was just excited. But then I noticed she'd forget my answer 5 minutes later. She'd laugh it off, but I could see the flicker of worry in her eyes. Those little hiccups weren't just quirks, they were her brain waving a quiet red flag. Here's what makes these lapses different from normal forgetfulness: they disrupt the rhythm of your routine. You might miss a doctor's appointment you swore you'd written down. Or you forget to take your meds, not because you were busy, but because the task just vanished from your mind. Studies show these subtle memory slips can appear up to 2 years before dementia's more obvious signs. The good news? Catching them early opens doors to action, whether it's a doctor's visit, brain-boosting exercises, or simple tweaks to your day. Practical tip: start a small notebook. Jot down when these moments happen, date, time, what you forgot. Patterns matter. Share it with your doctor if they keep stacking up. And try this: set phone reminders for daily tasks. It's not about admitting defeat, it's about outsmarting the problem. My take: I've had my own "where'd I park the car" moments. At 65, I chalked it up to stress. But when I started forgetting names of folks I'd known for years, I got serious. I began playing memory games, apps like Lumosity, and added fish oil to my diet. It's not a cure, but it's like giving your brain a daily workout. Those little steps made me feel in control again. Sign 2. Mood swings that don't feel like you. Next, let's talk about your emotions. Ever notice someone you love acting different? Not just grumpy after a bad night's sleep, but consistently off, like their personality's been dialed to a new setting. Maybe you've always been the patient one, but now a slow cashier at the grocery store makes you snap. Or perhaps you feel a strange heaviness, like the joy's been sucked out of things you used to love. This isn't about getting old and cranky. It's deeper. The brain's emotional control center can start to wobble long before memory takes a hit. Research from the Alzheimer's Association points to mood changes, like irritability, anxiety, or even apathy, as early dementia markers, sometimes showing up 3 years before diagnosis. Take my old friend Tom, a retired teacher who lit up every room with his jokes. At 68, he started skipping our weekly coffee meetups. When I pressed him, he admitted crowds made him nervous, something he'd never felt before. He'd snap at waiters, too, which wasn't like him. His wife later told me those shifts were the first clues something was wrong. Practical tip: track your moods for a month. Use a simple scale: 1-4 feeling off, 5-4 great. If you're hovering at 1 or 2 too often, talk to someone, a friend, a counselor, or your doctor. Sometimes, it's not dementia, it could be depression or even a vitamin B12 deficiency, both treatable. Also, try a daily walk. 15 minutes in the sun can lift your spirits. My take: I'll be honest, I've had days where I felt flat, like life lost its color. For me, it was grief after losing my sister. But I learned to separate normal sad from something's off. I started volunteering at a local shelter, and let me tell you, helping others rewired my heart. If you're feeling unlike yourself, don't wait, reach for connection. It's a lifeline. Sign 3, conversations that slip through your fingers. Here's a tough one: struggling to keep up with a chat. You're at a family dinner, everyone's laughing, but you're nodding along, lost. Someone asks your opinion, and you freeze because you missed half the story. This isn't about hearing loss or being distracted, it's your brain struggling to process words in real time. This sign hits hard because talking is how we connect. When it falters, it can feel like you're drifting away from the people you love. Studies show that trouble following conversations, especially in noisy settings, can signal cognitive changes up to 18 months before dementia's diagnosed. I saw this with my aunt, Mabel, who was 80. She'd always been the queen of storytelling. But at our last Thanksgiving, she kept asking us to repeat things, even when the room was quiet. Later, she'd answer questions with a vague "oh," like she couldn't grab the right words. It broke my heart to see her confidence fade. Practical tip: practice active listening. When someone's talking, silently summarize their point in your head. It keeps your brain engaged. If group chats overwhelm you, try one-on-one talks in quieter spots. And don't shy away from a hearing test, sometimes it's part of the puzzle. My take: I've flubbed a few conversations myself. Once, at a reunion, I blanked on a cousin's name mid-sentence. Embarrassing? Sure. But I started doing word puzzles daily, crosswords, Sudoku, and it's like sharpening a knife. Plus, I'm honest now, if I'm lost in a chat, I say, "Hold up, run that by me again." No shame in it, it's just real. Sign 4, hobbies that lose their shine. This one's a gut punch: losing interest in things that used to light you up. Maybe you loved knitting, fishing, or flipping through recipe books to plan Sunday dinner. Now, those passions feel like chores, or worse, they don't cross your mind at all. This isn't laziness. It's your brain pulling back from activities that demand focus, planning, or creativity, skills dementia can quietly erode. The National Institute on Aging notes that apathy, or loss of drive, can show up years before memory loss becomes obvious. I think of my dad, a woodworking wizard at 75. His garage was a masterpiece of half-finished birdhouses. Then, one year, the tools gathered dust. He'd say, "I'll get to it," but he never did. We thought he was just tired. Turns out, it was an early clue. Practical tip: reconnect with a hobby in small doses. If you loved painting, try sketching for 10 minutes. No pressure, just play. If you've lost all interest, talk to your doctor. It could signal something deeper, like depression or cognitive decline. Also, join a club. Social vibes can reignite your spark. My take: I used to strum my guitar every evening. When I stopped, I blamed a busy schedule. But deep down, I felt empty. So, I forced myself to play one song a day. Slowly, the joy crept back. If you're pulling away from what you love, don't ignore it, lean in, even just a little. It's worth it. Sign 5, directions that don't make sense anymore. Now, let's talk about getting lost, not in a new city, but in places you've known forever. Imagine driving to the same diner you've hit for 20 years, but suddenly you miss a turn. Or you hesitate in your own hallway, unsure which door's the bathroom. These moments aren't just senior moments, they're your brain struggling to map the world. Spatial confusion is a hallmark of early dementia, often appearing 12 to 24 months before diagnosis, per the Mayo Clinic. It's not about forgetting an address, it's about landmarks feeling foreign, like your mental GPS is glitching. My cousin Ed, 78, loved his daily walks. One day, he called me, confused, from a street 2 blocks from his house. I turned wrong somewhere, he said, voice shaky. That was the start. We got him help early, and it made a difference. Practical tip, use visual cues. Keep a brightly colored keychain for your car, it's easier to spot. At home, label drawers or doors if you're hesitating. If navigation's a struggle, try GPS apps or ask a loved one to join you. And don't wait, tell your doctor about these mix-ups. My take, I got turned around once at the mall I've shopped at for decades. I laughed it off, but it rattled me. Now, I double-check my route before heading out, and I've got a GPS app on my phone. It's not about giving up, it's about staying free to roam. Sign 6, decisions that feel out of character. Here's a sneaky one, making choices that don't sound like you. Maybe you've always been frugal, but now you're buying gadgets you don't need. Or you're skipping bills, not because money's tight, but because they slip your mind. These aren't quirks, they're signs your brain's judgment center is faltering. The Alzheimer's Society says poor decision-making can emerge early, often tied to changes in the brain's frontal lobe. It's not about big mistakes, it's about small, odd choices that stack up. I knew a woman, Helen, 70, who started giving cash to strangers with sob stories. She'd always been cautious, so this raised alarms. Her kids stepped in, and a doctor's visit caught things early. Practical tip, set up autopay for bills to avoid slip-ups. If you're making impulsive buys, pause and ask, do I need this? Better yet, talk it over with someone you trust. If these choices feel unlike you, get a cognitive check. It's a simple step that can clarify a lot. My take, I once splurged on a fancy juicer I never used. Dumb, right? But when I kept making weird calls, like skipping my annual checkup, I got real with myself. I asked my son to double-check my big decisions. It's humbling, but it keeps me grounded. Sign 7, time slipping out of sync. Last, let's talk about time. Not just forgetting what day it is, we all do that, but losing track of time's flow. Maybe you think an event from last week happened yesterday. Or you show up hours early for an appointment because your internal clock's off. This disorientation can start subtly, says the Cleveland Clinic, often tied to dementia's impact on memory and perception. It's not just forgetting, it's time itself feeling blurry. My Uncle Joe, 81, started mixing up dates. He'd call me about a barbecue we had months ago, thinking it was last weekend. It was odd, but we caught it early, and lifestyle changes helped slow things down. Practical tip, use a big wall calendar, mark events in bold. Set phone alarms for appointments, not just as reminders, but to anchor your day. If time's slipping, talk to a neurologist. They can test for deeper issues. My take: I've mixed up dates before, but when I thought my birthday was a month away and it was next week, I got spooked. Now, I check my calendar every morning. It's my anchor. If time's playing tricks on you, don't shrug it off. It's your brain asking for help. Final thoughts: your power, your future. These 7 signs: memory hiccups, mood shifts, conversation struggles, fading hobbies, navigation mix-ups, odd decisions, and time slips, aren't just warnings. They're invitations to act, to protect your independence, and to live fully for as long as possible. Here's what I've learned at 65: aging isn't the enemy, ignorance is. Every day, I choose to move my body, challenge my mind, and stay connected to people who lift me up. I've seen dementia touch my family, and I've felt its shadow myself. But I've also seen how early action, diet, exercise, doctor's visits, can rewrite the story. You're not just a senior, you're a warrior with decades of wisdom. Don't let these signs scare you, let them empower you. Maybe you recognized a pattern today. Maybe you're worried about someone you love. That's not weakness, it's strength. It's the courage to say, I see this, and I'm doing something about it. Practical wrap-up. Move daily, walk, stretch, or dance. 30 minutes keeps your brain sharp. Eat smart, load up on berries, nuts, and greens. Your brain thrives on them. Stay social, call a friend, join a club. Connection fights decline. Challenge yourself. Puzzles, books, or learning a new skill, it's brain fuel. See your doctor. If any sign feels familiar, get a cognitive test. It's no big deal, just clarity. My promise to you: I pour my heart into these videos because I've lived this journey. I've felt the fear, the hope, and the power of taking charge. You're not alone, we're in this together. Call to action: drop a comment below, tell me which sign hit home, or share a tip that's helped you stay sharp. Your story could inspire someone else. If this video spoke to you, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss a thing. Share it with someone who needs it. Let's spread wisdom, not worry. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep thriving, you've got this.